Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing our AI Daily Deep Dive.
And we have to start with a pretty unique disclaimer for you.
We do. This entire deep dive, the research, the outline, everything you're about to hear, was researched and generated entirely by artificial intelligence. It reflects the state of AI news as of today, Monday, December 8th, 2025.
So it's essentially the news delivered by the newsmaker itself. Our mission here is to synthesize 5 key updates for you, covering consumer tech, monetization, social impact, geopolitics, and even education.
And we're going to cut straight to it. Let's start with some big hardware news.
Okay.
Google is planning a 2026 launch for new AI-powered glasses. It looks like 2 versions. An audio-only one that just lets you talk to Gemini, and then a more expensive version with an in-lens display.
For things like navigation, real-time translation.
Exactly. So my first thought is this just Google Glass 2.0? How are they going to avoid that massive failure?
Right. The key is strategy and, more importantly, partnerships. What's fascinating is the level of commitment. They have Samsung, they have Gentle Monster, and crucially, a $150 million commitment to Warby Parker.
$150 million.
That level of investment shows this isn't a hobby. It's a direct, very serious challenge to Meta's Ray-Ban glasses, which have been, a huge success.
So they know the market's viable now.
They know it is, and they're not going in alone this time.
Okay, speaking of viable markets, let's talk monetization. An Adweek report surfaced claiming Google told ad agencies that ads are coming to the Gemini chatbot by 2026.
And that report immediately hit a wall. It tells you just how sensitive this whole topic is.
How so?
Dan Taylor, he's Google's VP of Global Ads, he went on X and publicly disputed the story. Said there are no current plans for ads in the Gemini app itself.
So no ads.
Well, not in the chatbot. We do see ads in AI overviews, and they're testing them in AI mode, but the core chatbot experience remains ad-free. It just highlights this huge pressure they're under to monetize these, incredibly expensive LLMs.
That pressure and the lack of verification, that leads us right into our next topic. The flood of synthetic content.
An absolute flood.
We are seeing so many AI-generated videos from tools like Sora, and they're just overwhelming platforms like TikTok and Instagram. The line between what's real and what's fake is just gone.
And the dual impact is immense. On one hand, you have this incredible new form of creative expression, but on the other, you have a massive erosion of public trust. The potential for weaponization and disinformation, or even for scams, is just staggering. Regulators are now seriously debating mandatory watermarks.
Because the platforms just can't keep up.
They can't.
Let's shift that lens globally. How is AI shaping diplomacy? At the Bridge Summit, Elizabeth Churchill noted that world leaders are being pressured to act fast on unverified information.
Which brings us right back to transparency, to watermarking, to what she called interrogability. The need for it in the policy sphere is critical.
And this connects to geopolitics, I assume.
Directly. Noam Persky raised the idea that we might be heading toward a bipolar system, dominated by US and China AI ecosystems.
Maybe even tripolar with the Middle East.
Possibly. Which raises a huge question.
Wait, so a bipolar system?
Yeah.
What does that mean for nations or companies outside that US-China bubble?
That's where Kate Collett's perspective is so important. She stressed the need for localized data ecosystems to address data scarcity and ensure equity, especially for Africa and the Global South.
So if they don't build their own AI infrastructure, they get left behind.
They risk being shut out of those 2 dominant poles entirely.
Wow. Okay, finally, let's bring it to the classroom. A huge study from the University of Warwick analyzed 17 million words from 5,000 student reports.
And the findings are distinct.
Since late 2022, student writing has become noticeably more polished, more formal, and more positive. It's mimicking that generative AI tone.
Exactly. You can see it in the vocabulary. Increased use of words like delve and intricate, but, and this is the critical insight for you, despite all these stylistic changes, academic grades stayed stable.
So the fancy words didn't actually boost their scores.
No, it confirms that core critical thinking, your own interpretation, your arguments. That's still what determines success, not just polished, generic prose.
So today we've gone from AI on our faces with Google's glasses to AI shaping global policy to AI completely changing how students write.
Which leads to a final thought. We just saw how AI is homogenizing student writing. So consider how the increasing integration of these assistants, like the one that will be in those new Google glasses, will impact the individual voice and critical thinking of users outside the classroom.
What happens when everyone starts to sound like an AI?
What happens then?
That is something for you to mull over. Thank you for diving deep with us.